The following program is a real estate and mortgage show and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is advised. Good morning and welcome to Your Home, Your Money with your hosts, Randy, Jackie, and Anthony, right here on Reality Radio 101. To contact us live right now, send us an email. Our email address is onair@yourteam.pro. And now, right to your hosts of Your Home, Your Money, Randy, Jackie, and Anthony.
Oh, Anthony's here.
Hey.
Hey, Anthony.
Well, I'm kind of here. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. It's been a bit of a crazy wet week for me. Well, here's the thing. I have a grand caravan because the wife wanted the people mover when we had our kids. So I had this van. Everything's going good. It's around 5 years old. And now my side door, my passenger side door, sliding door won't lock. Take a guess at how much it costs to fix. Just the door won't lock. I can buy the part myself for $40. Take a guess what it costs to fix the door at the dealership.
Probably $400 or $500
$2,000.
because they had to take the
I
door
wish.
apart.
I wish. To fix this $40 part, it's gonna cost me $1,000 at the dealership. So, yeah, not too happy about that because I'm pretty handy. So I was looking at the videos to fix it. To fix this door, you have to like pull off this. You have to hold up the window. It's a bag and a half of problems. So, anyways, luckily my uncle's mechanic is gonna help me out with it today. That's kind of why I'm on the road right now. Long story short.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
It's almost insane the prices today to do anything.
Well, it's not even the price. It's like when you're designing the thing, like why make it so hard to get to this part? Like it shouldn't be that hard to fix a $20 part. But
If it's a door, they got to take it off. They got to take it apart. I'm not justifying the price, but
I hear you. But sometimes even other things, like before I got to change spark plugs, and a spark plug is you literally just plug it in, plug it out. Some cars you have to like lift the engine to do that, which it's literally just a design flaw.
yeah.
Anywho, this is a real estate show. People don't care about my car, but
It's your home, your money, and our lives. So we're dealing with our lives right now.
well, the money part of my life is not too nice right now because of a stupid car. I know. Sorry. One last thing with this. What kind of gets me is I think I bought the car brand new. So I had the end-to-end warranty for the first 3 years, and we've had this issue with the lock now for like a year. I kind of like left it, but recently someone tried to break into the car, and because the door was open, they almost got in. But I think I'm not sure. I don't know when it happened because you don't really know it doesn't lock unless you try it when it's locked, right? So I didn't find out about it until maybe like a year ago, which is like I think like 2 months after my warranty, where they would have fixed it for free. So, anyway, that's all I got for this. My rant is done.
Cool. Well, I mean, good luck with it, my friend.
Yeah. So I may have to jump off because I'm actually heading to get the $40 part right now, as we speak.
And you're hoping it's going to end up costing you $240 instead of $1,000?
Yeah, I'm not gonna pay my uncle a bit. He's gonna help me out, but I'd rather give his money to him than give his money to Chrysler.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, this week is our August Saturday giveaway spin, and I think Amanda says there's like 44 people that signed in. We do know that there has been some issues with the process, what's been happening, and we don't know how to fix it. So we're going to have to do a whole revamping of the system at some point to try to fix that, because we can't let that persist forever. But what's been happening is these very patient people who have gone through the process, soon as they submit, they get an email and they can go through the process again. Once is all you're able to do, really, but we apologize for it, and we'll get it fixed at some point. But for like something like 44 people, Anthony. So this is like our biggest 41 people. This is our biggest turnout so far. So we want to thank each and every one of you for registering and signing up and participating in the giveaway. And I guess since Anthony's here on the line, maybe we do it and get the giveaway part of it done before he has to leave. Okay, so what need, in order to do this, we just need to go live, right? I mean, not live, what is it? Screen share.
Yeah, just share your screen. You should have permissions to do it now, Randy.
Okay, and there we go. Okay, so you got it?
Yeah, I got it now.
Okay, so once again, we want to thank everybody for that joined in, and it is for a free gift certificate, and you will get $25 Amazon gift certificate. The winner will get that. And they get to choose where we send, in this case, $25 to their favorite charity. So I guess we'll do it now. Let's go. And the winner is Tammy. Tammy, you are the winner.
Yeah, but Tammy, which Tammy?
There's only one Tammy.
There's two Tammys.
Where's the other Tammy?
I see one in yellow.
Oh, wow. So is it
That
possible?
could be the same one, right?
That could be.
Yeah,
Well, what we'll do is if there's two Tammys there and
I see a Tammy L, which is a different one.
Where you see a Tammy L as well?
Yeah,
Well, we'll have to check that with Amanda.
yeah.
Because these are all that, but since there's two Tammys that don't have a last name associated, and there's a Tammy L, so it's not Tammy L, but
No,
it's
just a Tammy.
So both of those Tammys will make winners,
Oh, nice.
and we'll go from there. So, and we will try to make sure we have a last initial. I see a few with like
yeah,
a
me
Mike.
too now, Brian,
Walter.
yeah.
Oops.
What's
So,
going on, guys? You need to tighten this up.
yeah, we do need to tighten up. Anyways, congratulations, Tammy. You are the winner of $25. If there's two Tammys that don't have a last name associated, we'll double check it with the emails. Yeah, we'll give gift card to the two of them, and you get to choose your favorite charity so that we send them $25 also. Yeah, cool. So Anthony, I think if you were to bring your van out here, I might be able to tape the part to your door.
You can fix the toy car.
I'll tape it to your door, and it might work. You never know.
But for aesthetics,
It's a cheap fix. Sometimes they don't work.
I don't know if I would put the word "fix" in there.
I am gonna charge you for the tape though. So
I'm sure it'll be Randy prices too, huh?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that 80% markup.
It'll be the tape costs $1, so it'll cost you $1.80.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
All right, 1 second.
So
I was before you go on, because I know you're once you open your mouth, it's 20 minutes. I do have to run, but the one thing I kind of want to leave you guys with is my one little article I have where they're talking about it was the article talking about how we might be seeing on the biggest housing bubble of all time, partially because of all the crazy credit we've been getting. People were getting that free money a few years ago, where you could afford $1 million house. You only needed $800,000 house, but you still bought the $1 million house because, hey, why not? So because of this, they're saying, because of this and other factors, they're saying that Canada may be seeing on one of the biggest housing bubbles there is. I don't know how true that is, but I'm not sure what you guys think. And I'll kind of leave you with that, as I do gotta. Maybe I'll stay on the line, but I do gotta run into this right now, so you guys can discuss that one as I do what I gotta do.
yeah, I mean, that's fair. It's a fair comment. I've always kind of been bearish on the whole housing bubble thing. When it was introduced to us during COVID, how we're in a big housing, but I would say I don't even know what that is. But at this point, I would say I do know what that is. And they're basically just referring to the fact that everything is kind of overpriced. But I think that's a problem with everything. I think bread's overpriced. I think oranges are overpriced. Anything that we do these days seems to be overpriced. The cost of labor has run through the roof, cost of gas through the roof. So there really isn't anything, including housing, that seems to be affordable. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest news buzzing around is that families with an income of over $100,000 are the only people that could qualify for the charitable housing, because they want to make sure that they can afford it and they can afford the repairs and everything. And so, what world do we live in that a charity wants to be able to help people who can't afford a house? It's only for people who earn 100,000 and more. I think that's a pretty sad day, to be honest with you. I mean, it should be for families that are earning 50,000 or 40,000 and aren't as fortunate. And then here's their gift, but this is for families that are earning over 100,000. Then just goes to tell you the state of things, how expensive things have gotten, so that families that would have been considered top 1% or very close to being there are now eligible for charity stuff. So charity housing, pretty scary, I would think, in some ways, but what do you think, hon?
Oh, well, I just opened this email from our producer, Gary, and we have right now 7,988 listeners. Come on, guys, tell your friends. I want to get over 8,000 for next week. Tell everybody about us. We probably won't be doing any bickering today, Randy and I, because he's not feeling good, so I might leave him alone. But anyways, me and the rental and all that, it's kind of something that I'm always looking into. So I read an article, and this is, once again, I believe last week I spoke about the issue with the international students. Well, now I'm looking at it on a different angle. It's gotten so bad out there for these students that this one guy actually, I guess, went to, I can't remember if it was CTV or which channel anyways, and complained because what they were living in, there was, I believe 5 or more, there was 5 bedrooms in the basement. There, some walls didn't even have, it was just like what do you call it? The studs, when it's just the wood, not even drywall or nothing, you call it, it was the studs. The bathroom was, oh my goodness, there was mold. It was disgusting what these guys were living in. There were no, they found like, there was no mattress, nothing like that. And he was paying $500. So anyways, they went to the landlord, and the landlord says, oh yeah, there's only 15 people living in the house total. It's a small bungalow. So 15 people, that's quite the amount of people. But anyways, the landlord says, yeah, we're not going to be doing rentals like this anymore. We don't want to rent out like this. So why did you? So now these students, because they can't, and not only students, sorry, I think I'm catching what Randy has. I'm sorry. People are becoming the worst slumlords, some of them out there, and they're pocketing like huge off this. And it's not fair. It's not fair that they are doing this and these students don't have a choice. So the landlords are getting away with it. And in some cases they're paying like $500, $600, $700 for a bedroom in a basement. That's like horrible living conditions. It wasn't even like, it wasn't livable what they were in. So I think that's a little, I think for people that are doing that, I think it's disgusting that you think it's okay to make some money off people and not give them proper living conditions. It's horrible. It just shouldn't be. And then the other one was, this guy got a ad on Facebook that he wants to share his bedroom with somebody. Not his bed, his bedroom. He's renting out a bedroom. He does have a private bathroom, but he's renting out a bedroom and a bathroom. And he says he'll have a divider up. You share the bathroom. And of course, the rest of the house is shared with the other tenants, right? And he's looking for $1,000 a month from this shared accommodation in a bedroom. And apparently it's because he's paying $2,100 for this bedroom and bathroom, and the rest of the house is shared with everybody. Isn't that crazy? $2,100 for a bedroom and a bathroom. When I read the ad, I was like shocked. I was just shocked. I couldn't even believe it. I'm like, I don't know. I just think it's just not cool what's happening to people out there. And they're saying one way of solving it is not capping the numbers of international students that can come in yearly. Because they're saying that the residences in these schools are too expensive. They can't afford to live there. And George Brown says, because this student was going to George Brown, he says that, oh, you know, we're going to try to make more housing. We don't have enough, but it's not necessarily that there's not the problem is only that there's not enough. You're charging an arm and a leg to people, and they're coming here and they're trying to get education. They're productive in society. And also this guy said it's hard for an international student to just come and even get a part-time job. Like he can't find one, right? Because he's new to Canada, whatever, and it's very hard. So I don't know. What do you think? It's pretty.
Yeah, I'm torn a little bit with what you're saying, because it pulls at your heartstrings. You want people to, you know, to have great living conditions. You want them to have good, affordable rent. But I don't know if that's going to be possible in Toronto. I can't see where we can get back to that. I don't know how. You know, it's just so sad. It's I don't know. The way I equate it is, well, first of all, I'll just answer your question directly. The reason why the rents are so crazy and they have 15 people in one room is because that's the cheapest place you can go and get. So because, you know, it's for that house, they were creative and somehow did 15 people in a house, which I think is against the bylaw, but we'd have to see, especially since they're not all relative or related in any manner. I would imagine it would be against the bylaw. You'd have to have some sort of tenancy license or something like that for, but let's assume that they do have it. Nobody really wants to go and live in those conditions.
Yeah.
But they do it because the price justifies it. And this is what I'm thinking.
Yes, because he was paying $500 a month.
And you can't get anywhere for 500. So that's why you go to a mold infested whatever, because
Was this in Toronto?
Yeah, I was in Scarborough.
Scarborough? Well, I think too, to add on a bit, is as the price of houses go up, someone has to buy the house, right? So if you bought the house and you're renting it out, you want to make money, right? So, and the higher the house costs the investor to buy it, the more rent has to be to justify even buying it in the first place, right? So
That's cool. I get that, Anthony, but give them proper living conditions then. Don't be a slumlord.
yeah, well then if that's the case, sure, but then instead of paying $500 a month, you have to pay $1,500, and you can't afford $1,500 a month.
From my vantage point, being the person who more looks at the investors point of view and investor situation, I really don't want to work with or don't want to associate with slumlords. I think it's dead wrong.
Yeah.
But I do understand it. Right? Because we've got a government, don't forget, that takes taxes from you, that charge you, let's say, taxes on your income. That'll charge you, and then you got to have an accountant to do that. So you got to pay, that's like another tax, and then you get what's left over, and then you've got property tax, and then you've got to pay any repairs, you're paying taxes on that. And so I can see how slumlords are like saying, well, you know what, it's not worth me spending the investments, because that's more of a vanity thing, right? Because here in Canada, we have pretty damn good living conditions. So when we see somebody in a place that isn't, the living conditions aren't that great, we think it's so very wrong until we take a trip to Jamaica or Cuba or Barbados or wherever, and you go into the locals' houses, and then you realize that we're living like kings in Canada, and it's not necessarily needed to be like that. So is Canada going to slide backwards? Is it going to, is that going to be the cost? Because, it costs today, if your house starts becoming more dilapidated, you're not going to be able to fix up that house that easily. You got to save $100,000 or so to do that. And then, part of me says, is that vanity? Are we just that now we're so used to this amazing standard of living? I don't know. It's a tough one. I don't agree with slumlords. Like I say, I don't like it, but I can see how today, with the cost of things, that landlords just aren't going to be able to provide the same level of service and care and love and give them, these awesome units, that easily. It's just really expensive.
It's not even up to code, Randy. Like if
No.
a fire happened there, those people are going to die. And then how are you going to feel as the slumlord because you didn't put any what do you call
Smoke detectors.
Smoke detectors.
But you don't know if that's there. You kind of made that up.
No,
You're
I
throwing
think
it in.
they said that after obviously an inspector went in and it wasn't up to code. Randy, there was walls that had nothing. So the wires were in the walls and that.
Yeah. I mean, it's bad, but okay. I again, it's bad. There probably shouldn't be protecting or defending it in any way.
And trust me,
Probably
I've been into some pretty nasty places.
Yeah, I've always didn't like. I had a friend who was a slumlord, And
Yeah.
she was raised that way. And, you know, I don't want to mention names. She was raised because her mother was a slumlord. And they live in the place and they live in that slum as well. And they're comfortable in it. So, I mean, I personally wouldn't do it, but you know, that's why it's a tough one for me. Because I believe that this is driven, that this environment that we are in, where we don't have you know, today enough money to survive. Most, I would say half of the population in Canada can't survive to the standard of living that we had 5 years ago. So that's gone. We threw it out the window when they did QE and this COVID thing. What they did to us destroyed 50%. I would honestly say about 50. Remember, if the charity Habitat for Humanity is giving away houses, but they're only giving away the houses to people that they believe can still afford it, and you have to have an income of $100,000 or more, that's not a charity case. Those aren't charity cases. But that's where we're at now. They're considered charity cases. So this is how far backwards we have stepped here in Canada. And I, you know,
Sorry.
and I honestly do not believe that it's because of some random act. This is because of this QE Act that was performed on us. And then our cost of living went through the roof, and then they turned around and blamed it on us. And then most people bought into it when that's not the case.
Anyway, just like devil's advocate here, is it a Canada issue or is it like a Toronto and Vancouver issue? Like I know prices have gone up everywhere. Like prices have gone up everywhere, but like again, I don't know much about the outskirts, but like in Toronto, it was expensive to live before. Vancouver, same idea. It was always expensive to live. And we were pretty much already at the precipice of you can't really take any more. And we've basically taken like 30, I don't know the percentage, but it's like a lot more to live now. So I don't know, like if people, I'm not sure if people in the outskirts, are they feeling it as much or is it more of just a nuisance out there?
Yeah, and some places are feeling it like, but Toronto, I would say is probably the worst. Vancouver's always kind of been used to, you know, high prices of homes anyways. They've had, you know, big lots of investments. Their weather is much better, so it's a much more attractive place to go to. Their sightseeing is beautiful. The landscape is just incredible for cold country landscape. The mountains that they have and all that. So Vancouver has always kind of been used to it. Toronto was a little slow in coming, but now we're here full force. I would say that Toronto really got the worst hit of all. But they're complaining all over Canada. So just because Toronto became unaffordable for a good portion of people now, like even if you're earning $100,000, you're just scraping by. You're not doing that well. And you know, at $200,000, you're doing a little better than everyone else, but you're not living the dream that you used to be able to live. So you know, and it's really unfortunate. And it's actually even more unfortunate that I'm just talking so callously about six-figure incomes and they're having a hard time when the other people are in way worse situation. You know, they have to check the price of bread and milk and all these things when they go in the store in order to be able to make that purchase. And that's just really sad. But I honestly believe, Anthony, with all my heart, that this all came about because of QE. And QE was performed in all of the major countries. So they just thought it was a really good idea. And it wasn't. It was a great way for the central banks to bypass all security measures of them being able to create and buy bonds. So that's about the only thing that was good about it. But the aftermath is what we're facing now. So, so the deflation of money and the inflation of our costs of goods is what is the cost of what we're facing. We had an 8% inflation rate, which we thought was really high. But the bigger problem was that the dollar wasn't buying as much as it was before. So that's why we all felt 20 and 30% inflation as opposed to 8. I don't think there's a listener here. Sign in and tell me, write in and tell me if you experience the 8%, the 6%, the 4% inflation, or are you experiencing the 20%, the 30%, the 40%, 50%, and in some cases 100% inflation. And that's the quiet inflation. Right? The deflation of money. That's the quiet one. And I honestly believe this, but I'd have to go back to school, study economics to figure it out. I honestly believe that because England did it, because US did it, because all the major countries did it, that the dollar relatively balanced itself from all those countries. If only one of them did it, their dollar would have tanked. But because everybody did it, all their dollars are, let's say, tanking. So there's no difference. And so it becomes very difficult to spot. But there was no other action performed that had, $300 billion. There was no other action performed at that level, just this QE action. So it has to be that, and it makes me very angry that they try to pretend that it's not. So what happened? What really happened to our housing? Looking back, yeah, with quarter point, Bank of Canada having a quarter point interest rate, and inflation at 1 or 2%, money is basically free. Let's say, if you could go right to the Bank of Canada, you could buy the money at 0.25%, and you can sell it at $2. So, at 2%. So, in other words, you borrow it at a quarter and lend it at 2%. So money is free. You're making money from it. So, under those circumstances, people realize that they could, there's a combination of forces here. One, they realized that they could get their money. Anthony, quit whining, ride a bike. From Eric?
Eric just sent an email for you, Anthony. He said, Anthony, quit whining, ride a bike.
I love you too, Eric.
So what really happened is because the interest rate was so low, it was actually advantageous for you to make that next move. It was advantageous for you to say, hey, listen, we want our dream home, or we want to move towards our dream home. Now is the time because the rates are really low. And so you have that as one thing. You have the Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklin saying, hey, people, go out and spend. We're not going to raise the rates. That's another thing, giving them confidence in performing this act. And then you have the COVID shutdowns, which forced everybody to be in their homes all together, to start to realize that maybe they could use more room, because now the kids are running around the house all day, not just at school for, a good portion of the day and then coming home. Now they're running around all day. And so now you're doing your office from your home. So it's a little too noisy. So you're thinking, yeah, we need to get a bigger house. This just isn't working. So there's a combination of forces that went together to drive the market as fast and as furious as it was. And so, I think it's really important that we recognize that it wasn't just a singular force. It was a number of factors that came into play, all driven by the extremely low interest rates, right? Because that would speed up anybody's plans, you know. So we got a bunch more emails here.
Oh, you did? I don't got it on my phone.
So let's see here on air. So we've got them coming to, so we got info. Hello, I was
No, that's not one.
oh
That's
wow,
somebody-
it's a big long one.
No, that's
Oh, but
somebody
that's to the YouTube. So we'll get soliciting us on YouTube. Okay. So how do you tell which ones? David, Mike, oh, here we go. Anthony, we got that one, right? Here you go. Okay, can you see that?
Yeah, it's from Lenora, and she says, Randy, you should not be feeling well every week since your voice. Okay, what do you?
Since your voice
Sounds so sexy when you are sick. Woo, baby.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
That's a pick me up for today.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Mike and Mike says, Jackie, excellent reporting on rentals. Hey, Trudeau, bring in another 100,000 this month, you idiot.
You know, Mike, that is the most blaring, obvious issue amongst government policies colliding. And so one thing is when, you know, we were talking a little earlier about the bubble and that, you know, are we really going to experience a very serious crash? It just may not happen because of the number of new people coming to the country to put more and more demand on housing. So we'll see. I mean, I do believe that housing is overpriced. For sure, it's overpriced when charities are, and I keep going back to it, but it's just so true, when charities are restricting giving these houses away to anybody under $100,000, earning under $100,000 a year. It doesn't sound like a charity job to me, but I understand where they're coming from, because their big concern is that if they were to give it to people who earn less, because of the cost of living, because of the repairs and that, they're concerned that the people won't be able to maintain the homes, and then their legacy moving forward. These people get the homes and then they lose them, or they're in great disrepair or anything like that, and it didn't work. So but we missed it. We'll go back.
And now we got one from Darlene. Randy Rodney's information is right today. All the research shows everything that he is reporting is accurate. If you follow real news and not made up shit by the liberal news, CBC, CNN, MSNBS, etc. I agree with you, Darlene.
And then
News?
MSNBC, you said BS.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, sorry. I totally agree. News is about ratings, just like any other show. It's a show. And then Hank says, hey, YT, quit complaining, listeners. I found a beautiful stainless steel home. Now I only need to find a bathroom, maybe publicly in a park. So Hank found a garbage can to live in.
The stainless steel garbage can with a nice, comfortable lid.
Hey, I'm telling you, maybe you can get a cheap membership at a gym and then you can use the shower and all that there. Oh, no.
That's right. Hey, what's that gym? $20 a month? Yeah, you know what? Actually, that's really interesting. Do we think that could happen, right? Because the cost of living
Not on my own. I watched some article where people are doing that.
The cost of living is so crazy.
Like they're living out of their car and then they have a gym membership
go
where
in
they
there,
can go
shower.
clean up, get ready for work. This girl was living out of her car, and this was in the States, and that's what she did.
It's sad to say, but when I was 18, I was no longer qualifying for foster care. And I didn't have anywhere to live. And so I was floating around all over the place. And that would have been a solution for me
Yeah.
at that time to get on my feet, was to, do
Too
that.
bad you didn't know me
'Cause-
then. I could have told you.
So, but you know what makes things very, very difficult today is that our government is also trying to protect, let's say, tenants from bad landlords and stuff like that. So they put in place all these really strict rules against landlords. So now landlords just say, okay, well, this is what we'll do. We'll make it impossible for you to rent. I don't care I don't care how much money you earn. If your credit isn't A1, if you don't earn more, you have to be able to buy the house you're renting
Yeah.
to be able to rent it.
Yep.
And even then, you're competing against other people who can buy that house. So if you're renting because you can't buy a house now, well, then you can't rent a house now. And
And the color of your skin too.
well, that's a different thing.
We know that's a
Um,
problem.
So that's it's really interesting. It's a really interesting environment we're in.
Yeah.
But I do want to say this. I do want to turn something around on its head a little bit. I just want to say that, these hard times do come. It is winter in Canada now. This is our financial winter season. We're going to be here for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is. And then spring and summer are going to come, and we're going to still be depressed about what's going on now. I would say, you know what, look now, to build now, to get ready for when spring comes. Because when it does, Canada is very prosperous. Like, there is no reason why, like I said, I grew up in foster care, and at 18, I was out of foster care, which, I didn't have a place to live. And then I went out, and then, that was basically it. Now, they did give me some opportunities. I went and got a special program where they would pay for the job to hire me. So I would work there, and the job didn't have to pay me. So I was able to then try to sneak in and get a job that I wouldn't normally get. What's this? Okay, bye, Anthony.
See ya. Oh my
All
God.
right, people. Well,
Bye.
hopefully, Eric, I won't be on my bike next week. Well, I'll let you guys know. Have a
Yeah,
good
Okay.
week.
I hope
Okay.
not.
Okay, you too, Anthony. So so what was I saying? So I was in foster care. Oh, no, it wasn't about housing.
Yeah, it was. You were saying how you didn't have anywhere.
To go, but I thought I dealt with that one already. This is the problem with getting old.
Yeah,
You know,
neither one of us remember.
we don't. We need Gary and Mike to tell us. So maybe. Well, I did say so. I went there. I was out on my own. They gave me a job, which was like they gave me access to a job. But I don't remember what my
Who
main
gave
point
you
was.
access to a job?
The children aid. They put me onto a program which
Oh.
allowed the government to pay the company for me to work there. And so that's where I went in, and I wanted a management job or a management training job. The first job that I tried to get, I looked in the Globe and Mail, and I think it was Pontiac, GM, whatever. They were looking for a general manager. I swear, you imagine this 18-year-old kid calling
You
up the
kidding?
dealership. Yeah. And I said, you know what? I haven't worked before, but I'm a hard worker, and you don't have to pay me. I'll come and I go, well, no, it doesn't work like that. You can't be a GM or a general manager for our firm and not know anything. So then I ended up pretty silly. So, but you're trying your thing, and I wanted to get as high up as I possibly could for free. I thought anybody would hire me now. And I ended up in Stitches, and they hired me in the management training program. And so I thought it was brilliant. Here I am on track for manager. You know what? It was actually, they were smarter than of course, smarter than me and the government, because really what I was a glorified stock boy,
Yeah,
right?
oh, yeah.
And so, that was it. They took me on that free program. And I was a stock boy in one of the stores. So, but I thought it was a manager training. But I realized 3 months later, when I haven't touched the cash register or
Jesus.
yeah, that obviously wasn't a manager in training. So, but I worked night and day. I worked 12 hours a day. I didn't care. I worked from
You
when
still
they
do that.
opened. Yeah, I still do that. Till from when they opened to when they closed. And then one day the supervisor came and he saw me there all the time. Every time he came, I was always there. He saw me actually running around working, putting out stock, everything, greeting customers. And he said, you know what? He was hired as a manager trainee. I want him to go and run this store over here. And so the manager at the time, his name was Ernie. And my name was Ernie. And before I joined him. And so the manager said, if I wanted to work in that store, I had to use a different name. So that's when I used my middle name, Randy. And so that's how that happened. And that was my first start at business. So my name actually changed at that moment. And I was with that company for quite some time. I grew up in that and became a supervisor, was flying around the country and all this stuff with them. So Randy became my new business name and my new name, basically, because that was my new circle of friends, was all business now. And so they told me that I can go to this store, but they have to train me. So they have to train me on cash and train me on everything. And I went
Okay,
to
how did we get
yeah,
here?
I'm just telling the story, our lives. So then I went to this new store, which was Gerrard Square. For any guys, I don't believe they're there anymore. I think they closed that down. I went there. I got so lucky. I blew the doors off of the sales there because I did one thing. I organized. First of all, I'll say that it was a discount store. So they didn't have good inventory. Every shirt they would have is all small and this and all extra large and that, and there was no mix. So what I did is I cut the store into small, medium, large, and extra large, not into styles. Because people would come in, look at a couple styles, like it, can't get their size and leave. So when I put the store into small, medium, large, and extra large, I could point people in the right direction and boom, sales went through the roof. Then all of a sudden, everybody in the company thought I was like some magician, but I wasn't. All I did was just organize the store in a different way. And then that was the start of my career hike. And then I was able to afford housing in that. But I remember what my original point was. And in going through all that, there was times when I had nowhere to live. I'd be bouncing around from friends' place and sometimes more. So I bought a lot of clothes, and because I had to buy fresh clothes each day kind of thing. But if that was today, because that was what sparked all this, if that was today, I wouldn't be able to ever afford the housing. To get an apartment, to get a 1-bedroom apartment, you're over $2,000 in the city. And I guess I would be making different money, but I don't think it would be that much more than $2,000 a month once you get out of school. And it's out of high school. So it's not like big money earning potential that I thought. So I don't even think I would have been able to get a housing. I would have had to give up the whole thing and went looking for a sugar mama. That's about it. Go out to clubs where women have houses and try to, yeah, that wouldn't work that well.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on. Let's just move on. So what's happening with the marketplace? The marketplace is tanking. But
I just did a listing and I sold it in 2 days.
yeah, but you're amazing. The marketplace is tanking.
For over ask.
Like I said, you're amazing. You got great marketing. We put a lot of time and money into that system. So it is better than the average bear. But nonetheless, the market is tanking.
Yes.
And and showings are down huge, right across the board. Prices are dropping every week. And the number of homes that are selling over ask, like yours, are dropping every week.
Yeah.
And so we are hoping that this is just a summer thing, because in the summer that does happen. It just doesn't happen this ferociously. So now that's what's going on. This may be better opportunity for buyers than it is for sellers. Sellers have to be a little bit more patient with the marketplace. It's going to take longer for them to sell their homes, and they're going to be getting less money. So, in this case, it's a little different. You were actually able to sell this property for more than the property sold in March, which is, it defies logic, but you have the verbiage. You did a really good job. You were a superstar. You might have even outperformed me on that one. So
Well, I
congrats.
learned from the best, or I'm trying to learn.
I just want to say Jackie helped me professionally to do a transaction for real estate for all the listeners, and she did an amazing job. Anytime I contacted her with a question, she always responded pretty quickly and said, "I'm on it." And she took care of everything. And I am telling you right now, for the people in the GTA, the people that are looking to buy, looking to sell, looking to rent, Jackie is your lady right there.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
What he is talking about,
We do try hard.
We do very hard, and we put a lot of work into our systems. But this particular transaction that he's talking about were performed here from Barbados.
Yeah.
And performed it in Toronto.
That's
So-
what's amazing. Totally amazing, folks. We're
Yeah.
thousands of miles away from each other, and I'm dealing with a local situation, a local issue, and they put my mind at ease. We got it. We got it covered. I'll take care of it. I'll be in touch. And they did every step of the way.
Mhm.
Yeah, even the one that I just sold, I actually listed it while I was here, and I sold it while I'm here. But I have to say, we have an
They're
amazing
amazing
team. We got Amanda, Oren, Anthony.
And they're
and-
really good. And then we have another administrative force behind
Yeah.
us as
And
well.
I'm looking to get a job with them people. So there you go.
So, I mean, we got a great team with
We're
us.
fortunate. We're
We're
fortunate.
lucky, they are the ones when we're away that make
Yeah.
everything happen, right? Because we're here, we're handling everything in the back and we're negotiating and all that, but they're making it possible for
Yeah.
us to be able to do this.
Yeah, and we have a new office that, I don't know, Mike, next time you go there, let me know what's happening, but we'll be back shortly to see, but it should be finished. If it's not, I don't know.
We'll talk off air, because I was in there the other day just to take a little look.
Okay, great. So
And-
yeah, okay.
I'll talk to you later about that.
Okay, well, okay, great. And so the market right now is tanking, but it could just be a summer thing, right? We're hoping that because that the summer, while it's moving fast and furiously downwards, we're hoping that it's just a summer thing, and the pace at which it's moving at, it's more rapid, just given we came off of COVID or something of that nature. And then we head into the fall market and things pick up and go, back to a little bit more of a normal marketplace. We're going to be able to give you those answers within the next 3 to 4 weeks. Because we will be heading into the fall market very shortly, and so we'll be able to let you know what's going on there. But right now, it looks like inventory is building up. We are in most places, in most regions, we're in a balanced market. And in some parts, we're still in a seller's market when it comes to the months of inventory. In other words, how much inventory that we have compared to the amount of sales that we have. When we look at that, the faster properties are moving and the less choice the buyers have, that creates a more seller's marketplace. But when you have a lot of choice and the houses are moving slower, that's a buyer's marketplace. So we're moving into a buyer's marketplace right now, and we'll see where we end up if it, switches gears and turns around and starts heading back into the seller's market again. But we have been in a pretty good seller's market for quite some time. And we've seen within the seller's market, we've seen a lot of turbulence, which we normally do not see in the seller's market. And what that is that's government policies coming into play, changing the landscape, changing the tides, the winds, and the confidence of people. And so so they're not entering into the transactions as confident, they're backing away, they're discouraging people from selling it and making it less affordable for people. So that's those are the policies that are being intertwined into the marketplace. And so even though we were in seller's marketplace, it felt more like a buyer's marketplace because of the policies, the turbulence that was in the marketplace. So at some point that settles. See, if the government didn't do all that, then we would not, the prices would probably be really stupid at this point. But I think it would have went to a natural crash. But it never got a chance to get there to the crash situation because the government stepped in and interfered with everything and created a false environment. And so here we are now. Buyers are sitting on the wings saying, when is a good time for me to get in? And I wish I could tell you that again in about 4 weeks, 2, 3, 4 weeks. We'll be able to tell you if the market is moving in an upwards direction for the spring market, and we're kind of back to normal with different accelerations than previously. And then at that point, we can let you know if we think it's probably a good timing for you to buy, because it really is not looking good for the price of homes to drop ferociously. And the only reason I say that is because there really is not a lot there's really not a lot of extra homes out there. Like there's not a lot of supply. And so that makes it hard for everything to increase to decrease that quickly. If we have a good buildup, now inventory starting to build up, but if the fall kicks in and eats up that inventory, then there's nowhere for prices to move but stay still or move upwards or turbulent its way through the marketplace.
I just want to give before the show.
Okay, I want to say one more thing. And the other thing is replacement costs. If you go to Home Depot and you look at the prices of your lumber and your toilets and all that stuff, you'll see that it's actually not that easy to go and buy a piece of land and put a house on it and save money. So and especially if you're having to hire contractors, because their rates are incredible now and they're very unreliable. Sorry, hon.
No, I just wanted to give a shout out to Oren, one of our partners, because we had a past client call us, let's just say yesterday. And she wanted to see a property in Brighton. Brighton is a far distance away from Ajax. And it was actually, and she called in the afternoon and she wanted to see it that night, but it wasn't possible. Like it just wasn't possible to organize somebody.
Well, the problem with showings is that it's not just to have a willing buyer wanting to see it and a willing agent wanting to show it. You also have to have a willing seller that's willing to take that quick appointment.
Yeah.
So, so those variables are there. Go ahead.
And called Oren, and Oren called her, and he drove off to Brighton the next morning and showed it to her at 11 a.m. and That was a long drive, and he made it happen in less than 24 hours. He got everything out of the way, whatever he had to do, and he said, "Yeah, you know what? I'm there."
To keep that and put it in perspective is that's 4 hours out of his day to show one home. So,
And short notice too.
in
So
very
I
short
gotta
notice.
give a shout out to all of our
team.
team that just like, they're phenomenal. They make us,
I
Mhm.
I concur.
yeah.
Thank you. And like we said, we've got a new office. So hopefully that'll be up and running very shortly.
Hopefully we'll
And,
have a grand opening. We can,
and
anybody,
Yeah.
once we get back and get organized again.
yeah, so yeah, looking forward to that. And we appreciate everyone tuning in.
Yes,
Um,
we're almost at 8,000.
we're 2 people short of 8,000, so we'll probably hit it this week. We'll hit over that this week. It's wonderful. Thank you guys so much for tuning
And
in.
check us out on YouTube.
Yeah, on so you go to YouTube and you punch in @YourTeamPros and we will pop up. Thank you very much for tuning in. This has been Your Home, Your Money, and Our Lives on realityradio101.com. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Your Home, Your Money with your hosts, Randy, Jackie, and Anthony, right here on Reality Radio 101.